So today we're going to talk about the conference championship in women's basketball. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video and you make Rob happy. So we want to remind you every Monday and Thursday, we have Caitlin Clark's Crossover. It's like a sports reporters type forum with a lot of popular podcasters who cover Caitlin Clark. It's tonight, 6 to 7 Eastern time. And on Thursdays is at 5:30 Eastern time, except for major holidays.
So come share your opinions. Come share your opinions. We'd like that.
And yeah, in the thread, you can say all sorts of things in the thread. Try to keep it clean. All right. So, anyways, the women's conference championships were this weekend, and there were some upsets and some expected wins. Connecticut won. UCLA in a slight upset, maybe. They beat USC. South Carolina crushed Texas. And Notre Dame lost in the semifinals, and Duke ended up winning in the ACC. It was a big weekend, Rob. Tell me what are your overall takes from the weekend?
Duke defeating Notre Dame. Notre Dame, the past few games have really disappointed me with their shooting. They come down and they'll get the ball and they'll pull it for a three-pointer. And I'm going, what are you doing? There's nobody underneath the basket. Their shooting selection has really been really bad. And I think even their coach said that.
Yeah, I don't like pulling up for three when you have no teammates there. It's not like it's an 80% shot. It's
Yeah, it's not like the game that really kind of, believe it or not, the game that amazed me was the way South Carolina destroyed Texas, because Texas is the number one. Their offense has always been strong, but they showed the stat during the game that their offense is great until they play South Carolina, and that's where it goes down, and that's what happened.
Well, Madison Booker has nice numbers, but she's come up small in almost all the big games this year. So she hasn't shot well in almost all the big games. So I'm disappointed in her in that. She's only a sophomore, but she has nice numbers. Like in general, she has a good shooting percentage. So she's a talented player.
See a player of the year.
Yeah. Some people thought Anise Morrow should have been, right?
I'm sorry. Then the Connecticut, they're in the Big East, so it doesn't surprise me. But what is people got to watch out now for Paige Beckers seems to be back on track.
And Sarah Strong played well too. So right. Some people think Sarah Strong should be first team All-American, considered for player of the year and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm still thinking Paige is probably a little bit better, but that gives them a great 1-2 punch. And I think Connecticut is one of the favorites. In fact, they're listed as one of the favorites. They're going to be a number one seed. They finished the season strong. They struggled earlier in the year with some losses, but they played a tough schedule and they came through. So I definitely think they're a major threat. Remember the beginning of the year, Rob? In fact, before the beginning of the year, it was like 6 months ago, they had ESPN that had this way too early projection for the top teams in the NCAA tournament. And they had Connecticut 5th. I said, wait a minute. They just made the Final Four. They had 5 injuries, and these people are coming back. And they had the number one player coming out of high school. And they still have Paige Beckers. How is that 5th? Well, eventually they ranked her higher and higher as they did the not too early things, and they eventually had them like 2nd or 3rd. And I go, well, that's what Rob and I were saying. We said that before. Why couldn't you see that? And now they're second. Now they're like the second co-favorites with South Carolina. Oh, they think UCLA deserves the number one seed, even though I don't think they're most likely to win it. I just think they've only lost 2 games to USC and played the 4th hardest schedule.
Yeah, UCLA, they don't really. I mean, for me to rank them number one is still kind of hard for me. I mean, they had a tough schedule, but the way they played defense against USC these past 3 games, they played them 3 times, and all the 3 times I don't understand how they're not guarding one of the best players in the country. I don't get their defensive scheme.
Let's talk about that. First game, not only didn't they double team her, the players seemed to be playing off her. So there seemed to be 2 mistakes in one on the defense of her, right? You agree with that?
Yeah, against Juju. Yeah, she's a shooter.
So they have Lauren Betts underneath the basket, and the woman's playing off her, like worried about driving by, or like, what do you want about driving by? You got Lauren Betts underneath the basket.
Right.
I mean, unless Lauren Betts gets in foul trouble, that'd be a different story. But she wasn't, and she was just doing whatever she wanted with this woman that was covering her, no matter who was covering her. And she got off the hot start shooting, and you don't want that to happen because that's the weakness of her game is jump shooting. If that gets hot, then forget it. You're never going to stop her if she starts driving to the basket too, because she gets all the whistle calls. And so,
but that's that. You're right, Mark. I mean, if I was coaching against her, I'd have a player pay up on her, force her to drive more. And though she might get those easy calls, you have backup there. You have Betts there. You follow her into Beckett's, and she's going to force up a shot before she wants to. But to just leave her, just play off her and leave her. Okay, I'll let you shoot the three, or I'll let you shoot. I mean, it's in 3 games. I mean, you played them 3 times. You still didn't get it.
And Rob, look at the 12th quarter they played against him, which is the 4th quarter of the 3rd game. Lauren Betts kept locking Juju Watkins' shot. Well, lo and behold, that would have happened before if you would make her to drive towards the basket. And it didn't. What I can't understand is, okay, so in the first half of the first game, Rob, it was obvious their whatever defensive strategy they had, which seemed to be none, against Juju Watkins wasn't working. Why was there no adjustment by the coach, Corey Close? I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. And so then the game, they lose that game, Rob. And okay, maybe at halftime, maybe there was some adjustment. They just couldn't figure it out, whatever. The next game, they had the exact same defense that they did the first game where they got crushed.
Yeah.
As a coach, Rob, what would you have done? What would you have said for game 2? What would you have done?
How about double teaming her? Getting the ball out of her hand.
Wow.
What a concept, right?
What is the concept?
I know, what a concept. Gee, it's like the old Bill Cosby thing. What does she want? She wants the ball. So how about like not letting her score? Who's gonna beat us in this game?
Well, right, Rob. She's not a bad passer, but she's not a great passer. So you've got to force her to pass sometimes and take the ball out of her hands. And Jay Wright said, yeah, you not only do you have to double team, you have to take the ball out of her hands. So you don't even allow her to drive to the basket.
Right.
And so that means get up on her early, like they do with Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. Get on her early.
I mean, I'd pick her up at half court. I'd pick her up at least at half court.
Right.
You know, because she's had in the beginning of the year, like I said, she's cut down on the turnovers.
She actually had turnovers. She had 17 turnovers and only 7 assists in the 3 Big Ten games. 17 turnovers and only 7 assists.
Yeah.
A .41 assist turnover ratio. Caitlin Clark sucks when she has a 1.8 in college and 1.5 in the WNBA for her assist to turnover ratio, which is way better than that.
Yeah, I stand corrected on that one, Mark. Yeah, I just looked at the game last night. She had 5.
Right. So she does have a lot of turnovers.
So why not pressure her even to more turnovers? And get her frustrated. But but just to let her come down and dribble and score, and it's not okay. First game, okay, I can understand that. Second game, like, what are you doing? But then again, the third game, like, hello. What's
they did
here?
double team her some in the first half, but it wasn't very effective because Juju got off to a good start in the first half. But she got to the free throw line, and she was 7 of 8 from the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
So she got her calls that she always gets. She gets the best whistle in basketball since I've ever seen in my life. Best whistle.
Those were legitimate fouls, though. So it wasn't like she got the easy whistle.
They weren't in the game before.
No, I'm talking about this game. Those were legitimate fouls. She got fouled. And the other ones, like you said, there was one call where the person was backing up and she drove, and then that person backing up got called with a foul. And that's like,
I saw one in the first half that I did not think was a foul, Rob. So she got a lot of foul calls in the first half. But be that as may, the coach, I don't know why they finally, and then at halftime, they must have done something different because they came up, their defense was even better in the second half than it was in the first. Their double teaming was more effective, let's put it that way.
Right.
And the other players were cold. So that's part of it. I think the other players got cold. The other players, they were forcing the other players to beat them, and those players got cold. And, Kiki's been inconsistent all year. I can't pronounce her last name.
Ira Fan,
yeah. She's been inconsistent all year. So
I can't believe they had her. I mean, I can't believe they had her ranked. What is it?
Third.
Second? Yeah, second or third for the draft.
Draft. I think preseason player, like a preseason, third best player in the country. Or no, that was after Hannah Dago, so I think it was fourth. Hannah Dago was ranked third. So
she had a good game. She had a good game the other day, but yesterday she had nothing.
Not against UCLA.
No.
So she's been inconsistent all year, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. But I was disappointed in Notre Dame, Rob, and I've been disappointed in their play for the recent games. Hannah Dago's not shooting well, and sometimes she takes those 3-point shots you don't like, where there's no one underneath the basket. But her defense
all three of them do. All three of the star players. I'm like, what do you? I mean, come on, now.
And Olivia.
Yeah, Mills. Yeah, Mills.
Yeah. So I don't know, Rob. I thought they look like one of the favorites to win the title. They no longer look that way. But I wouldn't count them out. You got three good players.
They can always turn it around, but I think they talk about being exposed. They've been exposed, because it's like, their game is good. It's a pressure game. It's a defensive game. Get the ball and go. But if the other team's scoring, it's kind of hard for you to get the ball and go.
Right. So, Rob, on Sunday night at 8:00 comes out the brackets. So next Monday, I'll ask you for your final four, your final two, and who you think's going to win. But until we see the bracket, I won't do that. But I am going to ask you right now, who do you think's going to win?
I'm going to say South Carolina. The way they've I mean, the rankings, you would say put them two, because
I don't think UCLA is the favorite to win it. I think they only have 2 losses, and South Carolina had 2 losses recently that weren't that good.
That's why you wait. But I still think they're just amazing with their. I mean, they have 9 people. They play 9 people, and most teams play about maybe 6 or 7, and they just keep coming. And they all have they got that mind. Like with a coach, the way Dawn Staley played. If you remember seeing her play, that's the kind of play. That's the way she played, hard. And that's why when I coach, my players kind of reflect off the coach. When I played, I come out and I play hard. You expect that from your players. So I think they're going to win it all. I think South Carolina's going to win.
Okay, I'm not going to disagree with you. Unfortunately, I would like to disagree with you, but I'm not. But I think South Carolina is going to win, and the depth is going to be the key, and also the coaching. Dawn Staley's a great coach. I don't like her. I think she's a great coach, and if she goes up against Juju Watkins, she'll know how to play her defensively from the first moment, the tip. It won't figure out 3.5 games to do it.
Right. It won't take 3. It won't take. I mean, when you're playing defense, market, like you say, you're left-handed. Sometimes it takes. Some people are like, it takes like a whole 2 quarters to figure out. Dude, the guy's left-handed. Why don't you force him right instead of forcing him left? He's left-handed. She's right off the grid. You know that you're left-handed. So
I exaggerated with the 3.5, Rob. It was really 2.5. But who cares?
Yeah.
So if you like this video, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do, so you get notified of our next video. And join us for our new Caitlin Clark crossover during our live show, which is on Monday nights, except for major holidays, 6 to 7 Eastern. The live show continues after that, and 5:30 on Thursdays. On Mondays at 6 to 7. And we got guest panelists, and today we're going to have Adrian Ross, AK Nation, or ACK Nation. And our third guest is Rosalina Lee for our first time that she's going to be on. All right. So, hey, and if you haven't donated to our channel yet, you can with super chats and super things down below. And there's a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.